Okay, this should be recording now. This is my third attempt. I keep trying to record sound. I've been using Audio Boo and SoundCloud without much success, and I don't know what I'm doing. I've downloaded an app for the iPad. I've tried it at low quality, medium quality. Anyway, we'll see how this works out. Another test recording, and see whether it makes any sense. I want to talk about mantra. The use of sound in Buddhism is a science, really, very important and very useful. It's in Christianity, they have the thing in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So it has that level of importance for them. And similarly, the use of vibration or sound or resonance to engage the mind and to get it working in a particular direction and in a particular way is recognized as very powerful. The simplest use of sound is for trance work. So if you have things like dancing or drumming, beat, things to a particular beat or a particular rhythm, usually which has a continuous repetition, so you get into a loop, and within that loop, whether it's a chant or whatever, you have a proclivity, a sensation of moving into a different pattern, quite often the use of mantra, the use of sound in Islam zikr, the use of sound or prayer based on continuous repetition. Continuous repetition is the thing. Induces a trance-like state, which is very calming and relaxing, and quite often induces a sense of euphoria. So it has a healing usage on that level of trance work. But that's really not the purpose of excuse me, chanting in Buddhism. Chanting in Buddhism, the resonance or the attempt at resonance with a frequency or with an attribute, let us say, of qualities, an attribute of qualities, goes much deeper and is quite often connected with a sadhana. Now, it can be used in, just like anything, it can be used and abused for trance induction and just for turning oneself into a zombie for a short period of time, and that has benefit. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going out and listening to trance music or ambient music or any other type of sound that enables one to feel good. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with it. Very healthy, very useful. People have been doing it for thousands of years. And using it to connect with their imagination, their gods, their higher self, their lower self, all different parts of the wide spectrum of human capacity and ability. So sound is there, very powerful, very useful. But let's get more into the idea of mantra yana and how it's used specifically in Buddhism, in a sadhana. If we take a very emotional, a strong emotional type of chanting, which is used by, for example, the Soyagaku chant almost violently, but with great passion and intensity, quite often at very high volume. That has a very healing aspect to it, because quite simply, if you breathe out, if you chant very loudly, it it seems to have a good effect on people. People do it, they find it useful, and they find it very helpful. So it has aspects of that are to do with, as I say, to do with breathing, to do with self-expression, the need to express, the need also to. It's like when you go to a football match or a sporting event, and you chant and express this deep emotion for your team. That is very cathartic. It has a great healing effect, and that's why sports and music concerts where people scream for their pop idols are so beneficial to people, because it has this aspect of getting out the emotional angst, the emotional turmoil that is happening within us all the time, which is arising within us all the time. So it has a placating effect, very useful. So that is one level, one very simple level. Let's go on to, as I say, the higher, I would say higher, the more refined level of chanting. This is where you're resonating with qualities within yourself that you wish to change. So, for example, compassion or wisdom are two attributes that have a sound, that have a personification, a visual personification in a sadhana, and a personification in terms of a sound, a particular associated sound, a whole variety of sounds. And if you chant to those, or I say to those, if you chant with those particular mantras, they will induce those feelings and those resonances on quite a deep level. There's quite kind of bring them out of you, and you will find them starting to manifest more. It's a very strange phenomena, but it's there, it happens, and that's why particular mantras over the centuries have been used and have been found to have particular effects. So, for example, a mantra such as, probably one that you all know, Om Ya. Oh no, that's my one. We won't use Om Ya Hum. We use Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, or Om Mani Padme Hum, or Hum. Different ways of pronouncing it. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is those words, those vibrations, have particular associations, but they also, on quite a deep level, have particular effects on the body and the mind. Ideally, this is something that we don't yet have studies on, but I would say that just for example, if we take the sort of humming. The humming aspect is healing. Cats do it. Dolphins use their sonar, their ability to transmit sound through the water. They use it for healing. They actually use it for healing each other. And this is why people, when they swim with dolphins, and the dolphins come up, and they're very intrigued by people who are unwell, and they send out all these vibrations. We don't understand what they're doing, but they seem to be healing, and people report healing effects from that. And so maybe we can do something similar with healing itself, with sound healing. And there is some evidence for this. There is some sonic healing that is used. Something you can look up on Google. So the aspect of healing is there, but the aspect of change, the association with change itself, where you take a particular attribute within yourself, and you say, well, how do we invoke that? How do we bring that more into being? Whether that is compassion, whether that is wisdom, whether that is something more powerful. So, for example, in Vajrayana, you may eventually find that you are dealing with wrathful sounds that are designed to have very powerful impact on negative emotional states. And some people, you can, if you want, do those practices without initiation, without a teacher, without a guru, but it's quite dangerous. Because if you're working with very strong emotional states, such as anger, and you invoke them and you play about with them, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what you're doing when those things come into being, and you don't have the infrastructure to know how to modify and what to do next, you can get into all kinds of difficulties. And people get into all kinds of difficulties even if they are under instruction, if that instruction is not very good or not very mature. So this is why it's very important that the teachers themselves know what they're doing. So back to sound, to mantra. Think of it very much as another form of association, that everything that is useful, that we want to transform or change, from ignorance to nirvana, from suffering to non-suffering, all those various things have different sounds and have different associations that we can resonate with quite deeply. And if we do that, we can change ourselves, we can change our cognition, the way that we think, the way that we are, and our whole being, our whole field of being. So mantra is a very important aspect of Buddhism. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Just my opinions, just my ideas. Hope of some use. Bye now.